Greetings, Ranger fans, and welcome to another edition of Power Reviews Reviews, where I'm taking a look at each of my classic episodes of Database Rangers Power Reviews as part of my 100-week countdown to the final episode in 2022. So, still got a ways to go, but we are moving right along, and we are finally out of Year 0 and starting to look at Year 1, which was all the way back in 2013. That was the big push of the series where we ran through 40 episodes in a single year. So I'm looking forward to looking at that big long stretch of episodes. Welcome to those of you who are filtering into the chat. Obviously, today was full of big Power Rangers news as a result of Hasbro doing their Fan First Friday, and for once, it was actually stuff that that actually surprised quite a few of us. We got to see some new additions of the Lightning Collection that hadn't really been previously announced, with Carlos from Power Rangers in Space, Kai from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, Bridge from SPD, and a Tangle Warrior. So that's a fun new wave coming for the Lightning Collection that we surprisingly hadn't had completely spoiled for us in advance, along with our first glimpse at some of the Dino Fury Zords, which are looking really cool. Although I'm still frankly shocked that we didn't get any new Zords for Beast Morphers last year. I'm still waiting for that Beast King Megazord. I don't know what's going on there. Greetings, Scott. Good to see you. And then, of course, arguably the biggest, some of the biggest news were seeing the big reveal of the Dino Fury opening credits. So we got to get our first taste of the theme song today, so that's now available on YouTube. And speaking of Power Rangers things available on YouTube, apparently all of Power Rangers is going to YouTube, is what I have heard. I didn't get to catch all of the Fan First Friday because I was in a meeting for work for a good chunk of it. But yeah, apparently that's where those Power Rangers episodes are going, from Netflix to YouTube. I did not predict YouTube. I assumed that it was going to be a money-making ploy to try and get in on the Paramount Plus bandwagon, but no, going for YouTube was very unexpected. Good to see your Ranger ready, Devious. How much of the Lightning Collection do I have? I only have a handful of figures so far. I've got, the first one that I got was Shadow Ranger. My friend Seamus gave me, Tyler from Dino Charge. I picked up, a Magna Defender at a random, Walgreens in Arizona, because I'm like, okay. And then I also have, I have the red and gold, or not red, I have the blue and gold Beast Morphers Rangers, Ravi and Nate. I don't have Devin, but I do have the Figuarts of Red Buster, so I almost said that I had the Lightning Collection on that one. Good to see you, Sheree, Sir Paladin, Dan, good to see all of you. And of course, the Rita and Zed 2-pack, which is wonderful. So you just beat your video game. Congratulations on beating your video game. Yeah, I saw that the first couple episodes of Dino Charge have been posted on YouTube already, which is still blowing my mind. But yeah, I just have I have 7 Lightning Collection figures so far, which is dwarfed by the collections I know other people have. I don't consider myself anything resembling a major collector, but I do try and have at least something from each season where I can, when I can. So as a result, I do have many, many toys in storage, including, going all the way back to the Mighty Morphin days, where I was really big into collecting the monsters at the time. Um, but yeah, a lot of interesting news dropping with the Fan First Friday. So I'm glad to see that they kind of stepped it up. Um, and obviously I'm not the best news reporter. If you're going to want to get more of a deep dive, I suggest checking out Ranger Liz later this evening. I know that she's going to be doing a live stream herself in probably about another hour and a half ish. But yeah, the reversioning is getting uploaded. I believe that the channel is Power Rangers Kids, if I am correct. But yeah, YouTube is so accessible for like everyone. So it's you know, pretty much the one thing that would have been more accessible than Netflix would be YouTube. So that was an unexpected but somewhat delightful revelation. So it is nice to know that I'll still be able to access all those episodes on my phone once they're all up. And happy Valentine's Day weekend to all of you. I am now kicking off my February break for school. So my break sort of started earlier today. So I've been hard at work editing episode 92. Expect to see a trailer on that soon. I want to try and get a little bit more work done before I release the trailer, but it is looking very promising towards my aim for release of the end of this month. Knocking on wood there. So I'm very excited to finally be showing you guys 92. So many of these episodes from year 3 have been in the works for so very long that it's such a relief to finally be getting there and being able to show them to you. And I'm also looking forward to Dino Fury obviously premiering next weekend. That's going to be a big thing. I am looking to do videos on Dino Fury. It's been a bit of back and forth, but I'm hoping to have a little bit more of a formal release. But I can now confirm that I will be doing a series of short form reviews of Power Rangers Dino Fury in collaboration with Morphin Legacy. So I'm very much looking forward to showing you guys what we have in mind. I can't wait to reveal it. It's, I think, going to be something that I can do on that short form timetable because I do have so little time in my week. I'm hoping to be able to turn around those videos in a day. And they're going to be split into 2 parts. One part that you'll see on Morphin Legacy and the other part here on this channel. So I'm really looking forward to that collaboration. But I've already yammered on enough, and I think it's time for us to, well, continue with my hammering on with the actual commentary that we're getting into. But before that, I realized I spent the whole time prepping. I knew I was forgetting something. It's just off screen. We need our 3 non-controversial phrases, and for me, not to trip over my own feet. So let's get out that sign. Here it is. Here we go. I'm an old man who's tripping all over myself. So, chat, let's do our 3 non-controversial phrases before we kick this off. So, first up, these should be all phrases we can all consider equally non-controversial. Number 1, say it with me, chat. Black lives matter. Number 2, say it with me, chat. Fascism is bad. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Superheroes are fun. And let's continue with my deep dive into the superhero universe of the Power Rangers with the 13th episode of Database Rangers Power Reviews, the Year One premiere, where I review Power Rangers Super Samurai Episode 14, A Crack in the World. Let's get it ready and go.
Last year on
Yes,
Power Review.
last year on Power Reviews.
Everything's connected.
Quick little clip of everything from that run of 12 episodes.
And now, Database
Although I did sort of
Power
skim, I didn't include the squee there because I didn't realize at the time how
Greetings, Ranger fans,
prominent
and
I was going to
welcome
make it.
Power Reviews. And welcome to Year One. I hope you all had a watching the ball drop.
And this is just
3,
a fun bit.
2, 1, Happy New Year!
And there's the thumbnail.
What better way to start off the new year than with some New Year's resolutions?
We rehearsed that probably more than was strictly necessary for my eardrums. Oh, the resolutions. This...
Anything you'd like to share with the rest of us?
No.
Alright, well, I've got a list of my top 5 right here.
And these
First,
5 resolutions...
I'd like to find a publisher for my 2 books.
Find the publisher. Obviously, we get to see how that pays off later in the year. Kicking off the main plot of the series.
Next is make some new friends. Preferably ones
as we'll see, starts happening very soon with the introduction of the more Podsners. Nice little reference. New neighbors. And yes, I did have all of these things in mind as I was writing these.
Be somebody's hero.
The whole alphabet soup arc of the summer was in mind when I was coming up with all of these bits.
And last but definitely not least is regarding this very
And this is true.
From here
Computers do start counting from 0.
Cherry picking through Samurai and Super Samurai, we're going straight through.
And this was also
we'll be reviewing all 7
I wanted to make sure that I set a series of goals for that year of power reviews that the story would be hitting.
It's a tall order, but I think we can do it. And I can't
it was such a tall order, and I can't believe that.
The mid-season premiere of Power Rangers Super Samurai, which first aired the very same day as
And
the
this-
first episode of Power Review.
That is true.
But as always,
I forgot that I actually called out that reference and was making sure to reference context again.
Yes. Surrender betrayed Master Xander by withholding the inaccurately titled
I forgot how much we did with those index cards back then.
And reclaiming the harmonium and destroying it for Dai. These efforts dried him out, forcing him to soak in the Sanzu River for an indeterminate period of time. And the Rangers accomplished nothing.
I also just loved the little Ziggy over Kay's shoulder throughout all of this. It took fans a while before they started noticing that figure, and I just love having it there. Now this episode was kind of interesting for me because it was one that I actually kind of thought was a decent episode at the time, and then proceeded to get extremely frustrated with it as I was writing the review. Everything just kind of ramps up in terms of stakes, which is nice. But this episode really has a lot of flaws with inconsistency.
But not so fast, because Octoroo has finally figured out the traitor's plan.
You're driving wedges of misery into the human world to split it open so we can instantly flood the earth.
I actually really like this plan. I love this plan.
It's
Let's do it. There's more to it, of course. Tearing an opening between the two worlds is incredibly dangerous.
and this is also interesting because this is past the point. We're finally solidly past the point of Shinkanger that we had seen at this stage. MJ and I had only watched the first half of Shinkanger.
Which totally makes sense. Serrator is not only responsible for Decker's existence, but also still has possession of Uramasa, the only thing the half-nut
Those sports not sports glasses. Just regular plastic wireframes, or not wireframes, plastic rims. Those were just my regular glasses for years. Until eventually I finally had to get a change of my prescription. But I still use those glasses for filming.
Now, let's move on to the rest of the plot, which is apparently about Antonio catching a rubber fish.
Actually, the only person who isn't still wearing the same glasses at this stage in the story that they were at the beginning.
There. No interaction, but that is the second to last time that Vulcan Spike will
That's
be in the same
so-
shot with one of the Rangers.
That's still so
before
crazy.
Drink it in, people. Okay, moving on. Antonio's fishy photo shoot, which is
I actually took a moment there.
I might add, is interrupted by the arrival of
Antonio and
Pestilence.
his fish are
While
so
the rest
weird.
of the team dashes
He
out
was
to
also,
keep
like,
us,
terrified of
Antonio
fish, like,
morphs
just a
and
few episodes
bursts out
ago.
of the photo booth, giving us our final shared shot of Bulk and Spike with a Power Ranger. Treasure these fleeting moments.
Oh, man, I really did harp on just how disconnected Bulk and Spike were back then.
They won't. Completely oblivious to this, the pair finish up their Tai Chi training and grab some lunch.
Mess up the Tai Chi. Tai Chi.
Unfortunately, their little pun
Chai
fest
tea is quite good,
ruined by
actually.
Pestilence,
I
who's
don't drink
sending
coffee,
evil bug
but
swarm down
I'll have a
the
nice
throat of
vanilla
the
chai when I get the chance.
infecting them with terrible stomach pains. Before they can become his next victims, Bulk and Spike flee and take refuge
But
which can apparently shield against demonic insects. And all gastrointestinal unpleasantness aside, there
this
is
photo
one thing
booth
I
is
need to
ridiculous.
address here. Now, as established, Antonio ran out of the photo booth past Bulk and Spike to go face Pestilence. So how was it that, while walking, they managed to encounter the monster first and take refuge in that same photo booth?
Oh man,
Perhaps, but
this is just chief nitpicking right now.
Here is city block with streets on either side. This here, coastline.
Wow.
Here, Pestilence.
I can't believe how
Gas sensor detecting him. And
how nitpicky I got here.
Bulk and Spike were practicing Tai Chi. Now,
I have not gotten this deeply nitpicky in far too long, and it is
back around the corner
great.
to face off against Pestilence. However, at the same time, Pestilence is coming around the corner this way. Now, as we saw, Bulk and Spike headed off in the opposite direction.
I'm losing it. Oh, thank you, MJ. Yes. MJ is the only one who doesn't still have the same glasses that they started with because they broke, which we showed off in the Year 2 finale.
Thus, another geographical quandary solved for the PR universe. I think I just got an idea for my next book. Anywho, the Gold Ranger slices, dices, and makes Julianne.
It was a genuinely good bit, and I'm sad that I don't do bits like that anymore because it's so busy saving the universe. I'm looking forward to actually trying to do deep dives into current episodes again with Dino Fury. I'm not going to go super deep in terms of, you know, longer form videos. I'm going to keep it pretty short. But I'm looking forward to being able to be that nitpicky kind of guy again.
He sends Pestilence off to cause more misery.
The number one thing I haven't decided yet with regards to my reviews is whether or not I want to make use of the Database Ranger persona, because I feel like I can't really make use of that with the continuity of the series, but I know that that's the character that, you know, is sort of the flagship character of the channel. The continuity of the series is both a blessing and a curse, is what I'm getting at.
In your own words, you'd be trouble if you knew how much my plan depended on you, Decker. That still doesn't stop him, though. We flashed to the Google Earth view of his prior attacks, which doesn't remotely match the map we saw in the Shiva house.
Yeah.
And he explains that he only gained Xandred's trust to make use of
it. Yeah, this is all very weird.
Even though Serrator was the one usually supplying said monsters, Iskar worked for Octaru, and Arachnator was a mindless loose cannon.
Yeah.
How can you be simultaneously enforcing and
This reminds me so much of Madame Odious in terms of claiming to be a genius and coming up with this plan until you realize that the plan could not have actually been anything they had planned out. Well, one of the issues with I do have some issues with regards to continuing with the Ranger logs and Rider logs is, although they do have a distorted sense of time, I don't want to go too far into the future of the series, because I feel like that would be functionally spoiling Database on where the franchise is going.
I'm sorry I asked for more exposition. Please, just stop.
Enough talk.
That was a fun take.
Thank you.
I had too much fun filming some of these. What's happening?
Of course,
Oh, okay,
this
it's just
isn't
a
the
moment
end
of
for
buffering.
Raiders manipulations. With everything in place, he still needs Decker to make the final strike. So,
But yeah,
Serena pulls Uramasa out of his sleeve, and
I
Decker fulfill his side of the bargain. The half-Nihilak dismisses
the Dino Charge Ranger logs and the Rider logs, I feel, can still work within the timeline of the series reasonably with all the temporal distortions. But now that we're getting into the 2020s, I feel like we've jumped too far ahead of the events of Power Reviews. And I don't feel right having trying to do anything with current media in continuity with the series at this point.
Against Pestilence. I mean the Spitfangs. And now they're in the battle wing. I mean, make up your minds! So they finally decide to settle on the Claw Armored Megazord and the Samurai Artillery, using the power of Shogun
This was
destroy Pestilence once and for all.
a surprisingly frustrating episode to review. Because there's just so much exposition that makes you realize how little he actually had planned things out.
Sending everyone flying in a shower of debris. Off in the distance,
but like, if you're not really dissecting it, it's not a bad episode. It's just, you know, we're ramping up the stakes. There's a big reveal, you know, good cliffhanger. But once you start analyzing it, it's like, oh wait, nothing is making sense.
He laughs maniacally at his assured and impending victory. And that's the end of our episode. So, what did I think of it? Well, I'm torn. I really like the plot of this episode. It gives a great sense of
also interesting because the first episode of Year One is actually an episode that ends on a cliffhanger with the villain seemingly in a point of power. And I hadn't even really thought about this because there was no way I could have predicted exactly how everything was going to shake out. But then my final review of the series of that year of 2013 ends up being one that kind of ends on a cliffhanger with the with the villain in a position of power, with the landlord having database trapped in the holiday episode.
Which brings me to my next point. Redundancy aside, the place where this episode really falls apart is in the pacing.
Scott, technically, the thing is that it's not that they're in a time freeze per se. It's more so that they are in a place that is outside time. But I feel like it would be inappropriate for the characters to have access to events too far in their own futures.
This could work if there was some sense of frenetic energy to the script to carry it through, but there isn't.
Like,
they just keep throwing things
I've been going back and forth on that.
And it all just kind of homogenizes as a result.
And I don't want to give away anything about how the series ends.
It should be really cool. If there had been less repetitive,
so I'm not really sure how I want to handle things with database moving forward until I get to the end of the series. And can confirm a few more things.
The world is being split apart. This should be huge. Overall, though, despite clear dialogue and pacing issues, the plot itself is solid, and definitely sets the stage for a potentially interesting endgame. So, while it is not as well executed as Broken Dreams was last year...
Oh, what, doing more of the beard, the more of the beard out? I don't know about that.
We'll still have to see if the payoff is worth the painfully drawn-out setup. So make sure to join us next time, as we continue our journey through Super Samurai's final segment with Stroke of Fate. Until then... farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.
And that was the intro. That was our introduction to Year One. Now, once again, nope, don't jump it over. It's already trying to jump to the next episode on me. No, we're not going to episode 14 quite yet. That's next week. Going into Dino Charge. So,
Previous.
There. So, with regard, here's one of the things. I don't want to give away anything about the ending or where the characters end up or where they're going or, you know, um, or you know who's going to make it through what. And that's kind of leaving me in a dilemma when it comes to things that ostensibly should be happening later than the events of the series. Um, for you know, Database, when he left in the ship, it was still like 2016 ostensibly, having just skipped through 2015. So it feels like exposing the character to things from you know 2019, 2020, 2021. It feels a little unfair. And also there's only so much within the setting on the ship. There's certain things that I wanted to have. There are certain. I've been trying to make sure that the events of the series will play well with how the Power Rangers universe has unfolded since then. But I feel like them knowing how the Power Rangers franchise unfolds is a little bit of a spoiler, especially considering how much has tied into specific events in the Power Rangers universe. You know, we still haven't quite gotten into the the source of the temporal storm, the disruption of the cross dimensional continuum, that you know sort of kicked off year 3. But yeah, no, Super Mega Force ended in 2014. 2013 was the introduction of Mega Force. 2014 was Super Mega Force. So then 2015 was the first season of Dino Charge. But Database misses all of that because the year goes by in a day. And then the second season of Dino Charge would be 2016, which is ostensibly where they're at timeline-wise. Obviously, right now they're in a place that's outside time. There are limits to what they can actually access from the timeline. And I didn't want to just have them be able to look at everything. So that was definitely something I was very back and forth on, as the timeline of producing the series just stretched on and on and on. I know, Dino Charge. Ironically, one of the reasons that I decided to do purely classic episodes for year 3 instead of going into Dino Charge was because I intended to finish the series before Dino Charge was supposed to finish. So I didn't want to leave off with a series only half done. And now Dino Charge is 6 years old. Everything is very ironic there. But that's one of the key things is I don't want to do anything that's post-series before I get to there. I was okay with the jumping ahead into year 3 with the little teaser that wasn't giving away anything, but I feel like I can't do anything post-series, continuity-wise, without, to some extent, spoiling some aspect of the series, finale. And I don't want to do that. And that's really the crux of it. So anything that I would do with Database Ranger as far as, you know, any additional things would either be older episodes or things that are not in continuity with the main series. And so far, I think the only thing that I've done with Database that has been out of continuity with the main series has been specifically the trivia questions that I did for the viewing globe. That's about it. That's the only thing that's out of continuity with Power Reviews. And yeah, and even within writer logs, I do make a specific reference in the build writer log that I released a couple weeks ago, that was an anomaly that I got access to, and that I had not yet finished watching Dino Supercharge. Because let's face it, everything with the finale of Dino Supercharge has all sorts of implications for the Power Rangers universe, and I don't want to get Database all hung up on that while he's busy with other stuff in the series. I have really gone through a lot of effort to try and have a strong continuity for the series, past what is frankly a reasonable expectation. But yeah, as far as in-universe, it's functionally still 2016 for them. And it will remain as such moving forward. Yeah, at most 2-ish years forward for build, which I figured would... I really wanted to review build because I really enjoyed it, and I really wanted to do another writer log. So that's I made the one exception for that. But I didn't want... And I said at the end of it that we were about to go into the events of episode 89. So I wanted to have that sort of hard stop there. I wanted to place a limit in case anyone was asking about a Geo writer log or a 01 writer log. I wouldn't be doing things in that format. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I would love to review, and I feel like I can't necessarily do it as Database, just because the character has developed such a lore and mythology surrounding him at this stage. So I'm a victim of my own doing. But yeah, this ended up being quite a deep dive into a lot of continuity stuff. And how much I had been planning things in advance, which was really on display here in the year one premiere, where I was really working to set up a 40 episode run where I didn't really know what the series was going to look like. I didn't know what Megaforce was going to look like. I was once we get past these samurai episodes, I'm just trying to write these scripts as quickly as I can and try and see if I can do a turnaround of coming up with a review that fits my story within a week. And even with this one right here, I was just trying to play catch up on the episodes that had aired since I started the series, because I wanted to do that experiment of 1 week turnarounds, which I kept up with for a good while. For the most part, I kept pretty close to it, but obviously I've slid quite far off that schedule, what with Dino Charge having now taken place, having premiered almost 6 years ago. And us already going into another dinosaur season next week. So, whew boy, DB's got a lot of catching up to do. But obviously, he's also got a lot of work left ahead to try and save the multiverse. And I can't wait to show you what's coming next for 92. And you'll see what I mean by this one has been a long time coming. But I think that's probably about enough for this week. In about another hour, don't forget to check out Ranger Liz. I usually try to pop on there if I'm able. Obviously, taking care of RJ is paramount. So I might be heading off to bed. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm looking forward to revealing more with regards to our upcoming collaboration with Morphin Legacy for the Dino Fury reviews. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to hopefully be quick and something that can work within my new schedule as a father and full-time teacher and all the other things that I do with my life for whatever reason. So all that said, I think it's time to wrap things up um, with our remaining 3 non-controversial phrases. So, number 1, say it with me, chat. Love is love. Number 2, say it with me, chat. Trans rights are human rights. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Robots are cool, especially when they're synth organic biomechanoids who have no idea of what their true, life is like, or will be like as events continue to unfold. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up this month. This channel's kicking it off, shifting into turbo. Take your pick on how you want to describe things. There is going to be a lot of content coming out in these next few weeks, and I can't wait for you to see it. So until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.